Hello, everybody, it's your boy, Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming here today with my top 10 games of all time. We're here with episode 4, number 7, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the second Xenoblade game of the list. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a good representation of how sequels should operate, both mechanically and philosophically. Most of the game feels like the thought process during development was, what worked for the series up to now? Okay, let's keep that and try and make it better. And what didn't work for the series? Okay, let's either remove it or change it to make it better. And it's because of that way of thinking and their execution for the final product that this game makes my top 10 and why it edges out Xenoblade from earlier in the list. Xenoblade 1. So, first off, let's talk story. Don't worry, no spoilers here. Following up Xenoblade 1 and 2's story is a hard thing to do. Those games did not need a follow-up outside of one with Future Connected. They both had great journeys, but most importantly, they had great endings. And a continuation could compromise the story that was told, but I don't think Xenoblade 3 compromises anything. In fact, I think it makes it a bit better. Xenoblade 3 introduces a whole new cast of main characters, and I always go into a new Xenoblade game questioning how they can make me care about this new cast like I cared about the old cast. And every time, I'm stunned by how effective Monolith is at character introduction and development. The cast of 3 is strong. Very, very strong. I think Senna is the weakest link in the chain in terms of having an interesting story, mainly because her own standalone side quest doesn't really focus on her specifically, because it tries to further her story by telling the story of another character who has very similar circumstances, almost like a what if Senna didn't have the rest of the Ouroboros or Mio squad. Doesn't really land with me, but if Senna is the weakest chain here, then the crew is extremely well-rounded, because I still think that she's a good character. She's not terrible or bad, or even mediocre by any stretch of the imagination. Xenoblade 3 has an overall compelling narrative with a very thought-provoking theme about being stuck in the present and fearing for the future. And the music, oh the music! A Step Away and Where We Belong are some of my favorite songs in the series, and Xenoblade overall has always done such a good job with its OSTs, and this game is no exception. I've talked about this concept before, but the game uses the music to further the narrative, as some of these larger songs, like the ones I just mentioned, are almost like a character's monologue, talking about their feelings and emotional state in that moment, trying to distill some kind of message out of all the chaos of the story. The game isn't a musical, but it works with the scene for pacing and to control your emotions as these scenes are playing out. The ending is a bit polarizing. I won't go into details here. I have my thoughts up on the channel already, and it took some time for me to come around to it. But in retrospect, I do appreciate how they concluded this game and how they concluded this story. And I'm interested to see where the story goes from here. And again, I have theories on that idea. You can just check the channel. Might have them in the description down below. Now, let's pivot the discussion to the gameplay. Exploring the world of Ionios is a ton of fun. Like I said before, the concept, keep the good, remove the bad, from the previous entries. That works for about 90% of the stuff in here, 95% of the stuff in here. The only thing I would say is kind of worse in Xenoblade 3 than it was in earlier iterations are the heart-to-heart discussions, where they kind of seclude them off to campfire roundtable discussions without voice acting for the most part. I think 2 perfected the heart-to-heart system, where they were out in the open world, variable cast, brought the blades in from time to time, and they were fully voice acted and added to the world, added to the character development, added to the character interactions. They just kind of fall flat in comparison to me with Xenoblade 3. But the world itself is so fun to explore. You unlock various ways to traverse the world as the story progresses, which gives the world a kind of Metroidvania feel, where you can go back and discover places you couldn't access before. Finding husks, materials, unique enemies, containers, and even whole-blown, like, seriously, straight up, whole hero quests that unlock classes and new characters. These are all great incentives to explore the open world and to do these side quests, because it makes the world feel larger and more expansive than previous installments on the whole. This could go as a pro or a con for you, but for me, physically exploring the world of Ionios was a very enjoyable experience, with some beautiful set pieces like seeing the Orion Titan and the Mechonis sword looming on the horizon, and as you progress to zones closer to those two landmarks, they become significantly larger, which is a cool form of progression through the zone design. And while I think visually the overall world is more toned down in terms of grand vistas compared to Xenoblade 1 and 2, it's a different direction. And while I prefer the older style of large and grandiose set pieces like the Bionis and the Mechonis and the Titans from Xenoblade 2, while I prefer that, Xenoblade 3's world is still nothing to scoff at in my opinion. And then the gameplay that you are interacting with in this world is also very entertaining and is an interesting direction pivot for the series. Unlike previous games, you can swap between characters in the middle of combat, letting you play as your whole squad except for the NPC hero that tags along as your 7th party member. And with the style of combat that Xenoblade 3 has, I think this is a great iteration on the Xenoblade combat formula, since I feel incentivized to play as everyone instead of just sticking with a couple of characters that I know. The customization works off of the character swapping, and almost makes it in my opinion, as each character can learn and play a whole host of different classes that you obtain by completing various hero quests. You do a quest, unlock a hero, that hero gives one of your party members access to that class. And to unlock that class on the other 5 party members, you must fight with that class in your party. So say, I do the Full Metal Jaguar class quest, that hero quest, and let's say Uni picks up the ability to play as a Full Metal Jaguar. If I want everyone else to become a Full Metal Jaguar, I have to fight mobs with Uni as the Full Metal Jaguar, or I can just have the Full Metal Jaguar hero in my party. But having both makes the unlocking process faster, so you can control the pace at which you unlock it. A lot of various aspects of Xenoblade 3's gameplay seems like, how can we put the agency in the player's hands? How can we let the player choose how to interact with the world and these characters? And what ends up happening is you get into this cyclical flow of unlocking a new class, playing it to unlock it for others, and then you get another class, and the cycle repeats, and rather quickly, your party becomes highly versatile and customizable, with each character being able to play as a whole host of various classes, and then, by leveling up the classes for each character, you unlock master arts and master skills that you can use regardless of what class you are playing. So it's not just a matter of leveling a class up and abandoning it, because you can use some of the stuff that you just unlocked with other classes to create a whole bunch of different combinations. Oh, I swapped the Lanza's class, and now he no longer has the topple part of the overall combo that you can do in combat. That's fine, because I unlocked that ability as a master art, so I can always have it, even on a class that doesn't natively have a topple. This works with various debuffs, buffs, heals, other parts of the combo, and just straight up damage or AoE spells. There's so much customization here, for not only just the character, but each individual class. So you feel rewarded for the path you took, for what classes you prioritize, because you can use those master skills and arts in the future for other classes. The customization and overall progression system works off of each component, so rarely do you ever feel stuck with something, because each class is so highly customizable because of those master arts and skills, that you can keep the stuff you want most of the time while trying something new. It works, it flows, it's engaging, and it's fun, and one of my favorite aspects of Xenoblade 3. Because what it lets you do is plan out the next steps for what you want to do and what you want to pursue in the game, and what classes I wanted on who. It rarely ever felt like a grind, because if you fight enemies a few levels higher than you, that overall unlocking process is shockingly quick. Sometimes, if I fought the right mobs, I could unlock a job in maybe 3 to 5 kills. Unlock a class, sorry, Final Fantasy on the brain. I could unlock a class in maybe 3 to 5 kills, and granted, sometimes the level gap was hard, but I like the challenge. The only anti-synergy that's really present in terms of the gameplay is the fact that to unlock classes at a decent pace, you need to be underleveled. And you can find yourself overleveled to hell if you take the rested experience at a campsite, which is essentially free experience. And the level down feature is for New Game Plus, so on your first playthrough, if you get overleveled like I did, you have to go and find higher level mobs to grind for a bit. I'm not sure why Xenoblade as a whole hasn't standardized expert mode from Xenoblade 1, where anywhere in the world you can level down and up to where you are currently, whenever you want, wherever you want. Especially for Xenoblade, it just makes the whole process far less of a headache. But this is really my only main flaw with the gameplay, outside of the heart-to-hearts, and you by no means need to unlock every class and hero in the game if that isn't your speed. Most of them are side content, while some of them are part of the main story. And honestly, the reason I put Xenoblade 3 ahead of Xenoblade 1 in this list is the gameplay. It takes what was good about Xenoblade 1 and makes it better, while having a similar vibe. Side quests are less in number but better in quality, and the character swapping ups the pace, which is more my speed than Xenoblade 1's combat pace. And it also keeps the affinity system from Xenoblade 1, which was such a cool concept. But I do wish there was more ways to actually interact with the affinity system, because in Xenoblade 1 you had side quests where you could choose a side. There might be a couple of them in Xenoblade 3, but I rarely ever found them. But still, I think side questing as a whole, the gameplay as a whole, is some of my favorite in the series. They're massive steps in the right direction for me. And I found the combat, the story, the music, the art style, the characters, I found pretty much everything engaging and enthralling with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And the reason I put it here is because I think the side questing honestly really elevates Xenoblade 3 for me over the previous entries. There's so much character building, those individual character side stories, hero ascension quests, various side quests that flesh out the world and its characters, that make you care about all of these colonies that you're going to go liberate as Ouroboros. There is so much here, and it uses this side content to expand the world. It doesn't feel like it's there to just fill up time, or to keep you occupied, or to be there just to give you experience. You do these quests largely because you want to learn more about these characters. Because whenever Xenoblade tries to introduce a new character at you, most of the time, they're engaging and you want to learn more about them because they are that good at character writing. But, I've said this before, all three main Xenoblade games are in my top 10. And if you want to know why Xenoblade 2 is my favorite Xenoblade game, and if you want to know why it's so high up in the list, well, you're gonna need to tune in to find out where it actually lands. So I'm going to call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. Xenoblade 3, huh? A game about finding out where we belong. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Have you played it? Have you not played it? Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions and hear your perspectives in the story. What did it mean to you? What did you get out of it? What was your favorite song? Just let me know what you love about the game. What you dislike about the game. I would love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions and hear your perspectives. Stay safe out there, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.